So how much of a bend do these need? Okay, those legs look all right. Now I could, of course, have this upside down. Oh, I'm setting fire to my masking tape. Let's see whether we can get this to work. Hello, I'm Robin Vincent and welcome to Molten Modular DIY. Oh yes, I'm still hacking away at trying to solder stuff together in the hope of building something, of improving my life and my budget when it comes to Eurorack. Now this week, DivKid caught us all by surprise by releasing his very first module. It's called Mutes. It's a very cool sort of 4-channel muting thing with momentary switches and vactrolls for very smooth movement of audio, signal, CV and stuff through itself, of all sorts of lots of lovely things going on. It actually looks like a really useful piece of kit. So I thought I should get one. And then I discovered they also do it as a kit through thonk.co.uk. So I thought, get the kit. Put the kit together, and that would make for an awesome video. And so here I am. This is a bit ad hoc and unexpected. I'm not prepared for this. I haven't opened it and looked at it in any way. It just turned up over the weekend, and so here we are Monday morning, and I'm going to see if I can throw the thing together and then give a bit of a demo. That'll be fun. That sounds like fun. Hopefully it won't take too many days. It looks like a pretty simple device, relatively speaking, so hopefully it won't be too traumatic. Now I should stress at this point that I've taken absolutely nobody's advice, because you fill up the comments under my YouTube modular DIY videos with lots of really useful and helpful, grown up information about how one should actually tackle PCBs and soldering irons and all that business. And I haven't taken the least bit of notice. So I've still got my rubbishy old soldering iron. I did get some coppery stuff, but apparently that twangs and takes your eye out. Oh, I don't know. I've got some solder. I don't know if is it lead solder? I don't really remember, but I've got a bit of solder, got a couple of tools. Solder sucker. Apparently these are the devil. You shouldn't be using this. You should be using some kind of wiki stuff. I don't know. Got a magnifying glass. Got some safety specs that I sometimes put on when I remember to. So all I'm saying is that I've just got crap gear. I'm gonna put this together for you good people, film it hopefully up here and over here, and we'll just see where it takes us, man. And hopefully at the end of this I'll be able to switch in a few bits and pieces and see what DivKid's module is all about. Yeah? Give it a go. It's probably nearly lunchtime already, so it's a really bad time to start, and nothing has gone right this morning so far, so who knows how this is going to go. And it's also very interesting doing a module, or rather doing a review of a module, or a build, whatever it is that I'm doing right now, of a module of someone that you know, or know a little bit. I mean, we all know DivKid. He's everybody's mate. He's all our mates' mate, right? But, having spoken to the guy, it feels this added level of pressure of saying really nice things, because he's lovely, and this is no doubt lovely. I think it's a great scene, seeing him doing the demo and stuff. I thought, yeah, great, because I need this sort of kit. I bought a Muton over here, a Muton from SFF, for exactly this sort of purpose, because I wanted to turn signals on and off in my rig during a live performance. That's exactly what I bought the Muton for, and that's 8 channels with soft mutes. But that's all it does. I mean, you can use it as a VCA, which is actually kind of what I use it as well. But it does all of that. However, the Mutes here has momentary switches, which is very interesting. It has some internal normalization, which is very interesting. And other bits and bobs that make it different to the Muton. And that's what's sort of captured my interest in it. And the fact that it's a module by a mate. You've got to buy that, haven't you? And I should stress that I've purchased this. He hasn't sent it to me for free. Oh, no. No. I bought this myself from Thonk, and I've just noticed, having gone to the website to download the manual, that they're out of stock already. So I think DivKid's hit on a winner with this. And because we all love the guy, we all want his module, don't we? We all want to have that in our rack. Absolutely. So hopefully Thonk will get more back in, and this is how you build it. Here we go. So what do you get? You get lovely plastic bag. Look, there's a little bag with the bits in. Now, Thonk says that they have already pre-soldered all of the surface mount. So there's no surface mount going on here. This is all just be through-hole stuff. And actually, there's an awful lot of stuff already done. So it's kind of a half kit, really, rather than a full kit. but nonetheless. So let's take these out and have a bit of a closer look. Right. Now that's scary because these seem to be sort of stuck together. Am I supposed to snap those? Oh God, I've no idea. I don't know. But there's two panels anyway. There's a front panel and then there's a rear panel with all the garbage on. And it looks, these aren't cut. Am I supposed to cut them? No. Oh look, I just snapped them apart. I don't have the first clue. But that seemed to happen all kind of by itself. So I'm okay with that. So that's, is that the front? No, that's not the front panel. That's the mid panel. And I've got this other, I don't know yet. And then there's the front panel. There's the front panel. That I thought was quite nice. Quite nice looking, nice and small, petite, compact, like the LEDs. It's got the old DivKid nutty symbol at the bottom. Nice. Okay, put those to one side for the moment. So I'm not sure what I'm doing with that. I then got a bag of switches, the momentary switches. That's cool. Got a bag of some risers, the LEDs, the Vactrols in there. Nice. Then I get a Befaco sticker because this is built with Befaco. DivKid hasn't created his own manufacturing plant. No. He designed it along with Befaco, told them what he wanted, I suppose, and they more or less put it together under his direction or under his requirement. Yeah, who knows what they did? Who knows? Maybe they just got drunk one night and this is the result. So there's a Befaco sticker. There's a, oh look, there's a DivKid thing with something on the back saying, oh, you're glorious, you're wonderful, and this is really lovely. So that's nice. Another DivKid sticker. Something about glowworms. Because you do get a pair of glowworm Urat cables. So what do they do? Should I plug them in or something? Ugh. Not familiar with these. I plug it in. Does it do anything? I don't know. Maybe they glow in the dark. They glow in the dark. Yeah, I think they might glow in the dark. But that's cool. So you get a couple of free cables. Nice and short ones. They're always handy. A bit weird looking though in daylight, I have to say. Power cable, lovely. And a pair of knurlies. You can never have enough knurlies. Lovely. And then a piece of paper which should hopefully tell us what to do. Yeah. Okay. Good luck, it says. So we've got, all right, a little bit of that. Vactrols, solder points, headers, power connectors, control PCBs, female spacers. Now I remember on a previous build I had trouble with the online manual being different to the manual that was in the bag, and I went with the online manual. So I just want to check that these are similar before I start. But of course the important thing is you get a massive one of these at the back. Right, enough talk. Let's get stuck in before I get too hungry and have to go and do something else. So the bags aren't numbered, but what it says, we will start soldering the main PCB. Now I've talked a lot, I think, in the past, or rather in my video on the Turing machine, that was the first DIY project I did. The instructions for that were phenomenal. Every single item was there, photographed step by step. You could zoom in to the finest detail and see every single component, how it was soldered, how it was put together, where it should be, and you knew exactly where you were at every single step. Since then, no other kit has come up anywhere near that level of detail. So if you're new to this, I definitely recommend the Turing machine. It's a challenging build because there's a lot of stuff. It's a good size thing, but the instructions are so good that it's a great way to start with any kind of soldering, any kind of project. Because every other kit I've seen, the instructions are a little bit on the minimal side, and so you've got to throw yourself in there a little bit. For instance, I don't know what the main PCB is. I wonder if it says. Nah. This one's got this thing on the side. Am I supposed to be bending that off? The other one came off really easy. Ah! Don't know. I think so. Maybe I'll use some pliers. Oh, that's scary. I'll come back to that. So, main PCB. Start by soldering the main PCB. Oh, the smallest one in brackets, which is this one. Right, so this one. So I'm going to have to get this off here, I think. Okay, yeah, that bends. So, okay, so when you get this and it's got this thing stuck on the side, you bend it, snap it off. It's all right. You just got to go for it. That's the main PCB. Put the other one to the side. And we're starting off with Vactrols, power connectors, and female connectors. How lovely. So Vactrols, let's find those. So this, focus on that, autofocus. This, don't worry about it. This is a Vactrol, okay? A Vactrol is a dark space in which there is a light and a light-dependent resistor or something. It's a light that goes on and then goes off, and that opens and shuts something. And because it's light turning on and turning off, it has this attack and decay to it. You know, a very organic attack and decay to it. Rather than shutting a switch on and off, it kind of opens a door and then closes it again. And it's that sense of just the tiniest amount of slope to this switch that gives it the clickless feel that you're after. So Vactrols are encased in darkness because it all has to happen within here. So the light in here turns on, opens the switch and turns off and closes it. Or the other way around. I don't know. But it says on here that mind the polarity when placing the Vactrol. Short leg for LED negative in the silk screen. Right. Solder points. LDR1. Okay, glasses. Okay, so on the back, or it might be the front, I don't know, do we ever know? Is where the Vactrols go. So this is a Vactrol. And it says short leg is negative. Short leg is negative. So, because these are diodes, they have to be the right way round. Short is negative. So like that then. And then, I guess it has to go in the other side. So how much of a bend do these need? Oh my goodness me! Let's have a look. I have not soldered Vactrols before. Okay, that's the female header. So there's a quite terrible picture. It's a picture better online. Yeah, of how those go. To anyone who's building kits out there, or rather who is producing kits for people to make, photographs are essential. Doesn't matter how much description you put in. What you really need is just a photo of what it's supposed to look like, because that's just the best information possible. So yeah, I believe, according to that, that goes on there, and you just got to bend it across into the other bit. Right, so how much of a bend should it have? It's going to be wide enough to need the bend pretty much all the way. So I'm going to bend those like that. Those go like that. Short leg is negative. It's labelled on here as positive. Want to get that to sit as flat as possible. Like so. Alright, looks like the right way up. That looks like that's right. Okay, let's stick the rest in. Short leg. Short leg. Oh, I am all fingers and thumbs today. Okay, now there is something that needs to go in between, but I'm just going to risk it. I'm going to solder all 4 Vactrols first and then do the other bits. So let's turn them over, move these bits out of the way. Okay, so I don't solder regularly. So You know, so when people talk about having gear and solder stations and bits and pieces, I just don't have the room. Don't have the room, don't have the state of mind. I just whip this stuff out every now and again, give it a go, and there you have it. So hopefully I will... Sorry, it's just funny to me. Oh, heck now, my eyes. Right, so I've got to try to solder this without desoldering all of this surface mount stuff. So you get in there. Why am I so shaky today? God darn it. Right, I might need something to hold this for me because it's all a bit sliding about the place. Okay, now, you know, fill the comments up with talk about, oh, for crying out loud, talk about things that help with holding stuff. Right. What is going on with me today? Right, I'm going to attempt to do this with something attached like that. That. Now, is that going to help? Let me try that again. Yeah, I think so. I'm actually finding this really hard to see today. It's also half term, and by the sounds of things, I'm about to be descended upon by little creatures. That was better. That was better. Alright, it usually takes me a little bit to get into the groove with these things. Oh shit. Right, alright, I might have really stuffed that up. Now, I've soldered something. I made a blob of solder that might potentially... God damn it. Be compromising that surface mount. Maybe not. I'm going to assume not at the moment. I'm going to assume not. I'm going to tighten these buggers up. So I think after you've watched this video, you should probably go and watch something by the Synth DIY guy, just to, you know, restore your faith in the idea of Eurorack soldering. So I guess I'm feeling a little bit anxious because of all the surface mount stuff that's on this board and how close together it is that I'm risking doing something terrible. So yeah, these are really tricky. Very, very tricky to try to get the size of soldering iron in between these components so that you're just heating up the bit you want to solder. Oops. Yeah. Oh! And not other stuff. But my attitude is generally that I'm going to assume it's going to be alright. I'm just going to keep at it. Okay, those legs look alright. These ones... Well, I think that's probably okay. I'm going to go with that. Let's cut these legs off. So what next? I've got female headers and I've got a power connector. Female headers go over here. Does it matter what the orientation is? Please make sure they are straight, it says. So these are the things I'm not very good at, so I tend to end up doing them a bit wobbly, but that's looking pretty good. What I should probably do is get some tape. Just, you know, the usual sort of ad hoc way of doing things. Bit of tape across the top. Like that. Is that going to help? Let's get one of these in. Push down nice and hard. That looks good. That looks good. Now I'll try to do one on the other side. Away from that surface mount bit. So in case you haven't worked it out by now, the purpose of my modular DIY series is just to prove that any old numpty can do it. That it doesn't have to be scary. It just takes a bit of thought, a bit of time, and doing it, you know. The biggest thing that stops people from getting into Eurorack DIY, I think, is purely their confidence. The idea that, oh, there's no way I could do that. When you flipping can, because I can do it, sorta, and I can do it with poor equipment, with only half an idea as to what I'm doing. Just trying to use a bit of common sense, the advice of wizened people, and just giving it a go. And what's the worst that could happen? Well, I suppose the worst that could happen is that you burn 70 quid's worth of kit. But, well, who knows? The great thing about it is, though, you don't know if you've broken it until the end. So you still get, whatever happens, you still get the joy of soldering. You get the interesting, focused, slightly frustrating, but full of joy and wonderness of soldering. You will always get that, whether it's working or not, whether at the end it blows up or not, you still would have had the journey. And that's, I think, is a bonus about it. Even if it all goes horribly wrong, you're still going to have those hours you spent in silent contemplation putting the thing together. Okay, just going to pause, take a breath. Can't seem to get this bit to work. That's okay, just step away, have another think. Position your hands, put it in, find your balance. Ooh, and then I think you're there. Pretty sure last time, didn't I have a little fan on or something blowing away the dangerous, deadly fumes? Although people have argued in the comments exactly how deadly these fumes are. And that it's not the lead that kills you, it's the arsenic or the flux or the something or other. I'm of the mind, I think, that if you're making PCBs for a living and doing this for hours every single day, then yeah, you should absolutely take precautions. But like, I've just turned on my soldering iron, got me green sheet out, and just giving it a go, and I'm happily breathing in the fumes. But I don't think I'd do it anywhere near often enough for it to be any kind of danger of any kind. Now they look all right to me. They look straight. Yeah, that's worked out. See that up there? That looks okay. Yeah, good. Now, power connector. This presumably goes on. How does that go on? Go on there. It's got a polarity on it, so that must mean something. Let's check with the picture. Picture says it goes on with that bit up to there, da-da-da, like so. Easy. Now that's probably easier to tape down as well. A little bit of tape. See, I am learning. I do take notice of what people say. I do, a little bit. Just every now and again. Just the tiniest bit. And I really do appreciate all the comments, all the advice. I do read it. Often I respond. Sometimes I can't because I just wouldn't say anything constructive. But I love the comments. The comments are great. I love getting the advice. That's all fine. And I'm happy to receive it. I will never, ever, ever, ever promise to ever take any of that on board and actually use it. But some of it I will. I might. And that's not because I'm arrogant and know what I'm doing. It's simply because I don't have the time or the bandwidth or the inclination to turn my life into a DIY project. I like doing this occasionally. It's an occasional thing. It's a casual hobby, which is fascinating. Ooh. But I don't have the time for it. It's a bit like Warhammer painting. It's something that I think, I could really do this every night. But I know I'm not going to. I know it's only going to happen every now and again. And so there's no way I'm going to buy a whole range of 50 paints and set them out properly and have a proper space somewhere in a workshop where I'm going to be doing all of this. Oh, I'm setting fire to my masking tape. Nice. That gives us a slightly different smell to things. So yeah, that was a good idea. Well done. Well, I don't need it now that I've soldered a few bits. Let me take that off. Is that straight? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Ah. Ooh, no, that's all right. That looks okay. Looks okay, Looks okay. So look, there it is. Bit of Vactrols, right? Installed. The headers and the power. What's it? That's looking all good. It's looking all good. Look at the density of that, though. The density on the back of there. So what's next? The control PCB. Control PCB. So assuming that's the other one then, is it? Right. Yeah, okay, big long one. This one. Again, two sides. Which is the right side? So what this says is place and solder the male pin header on the opposite side of the silk screen. So the silk screen, my understanding of the silk screen is the stuff that's the writing that's printed on. I mean, there's writing printed on both sides. But this is the side that has a lot more information and sort of like the components have been drawn round. So that's my assumption that was what they mean by the silkscreen side. So when they're talking about the other side, they're going to be talking about this side, I believe. Place and solder the male pin header. So, but is it big boys up, big boys down? Ooh, I don't know. So this way round. So these are presumably going to be matching up with these. Or that way round. Whoa, I don't really know. Yeah. How's that going to work? No, it must be that way up. All right, I'm not going to concern myself with that just at the moment. So these two go there and there. Now again, these have got to be straight because these have got to marry up with this somehow. At some point, they go together. So previously, when I've got a bit rubbish at this and they've gone a bit angled, I've got to avoid that this time around. Maybe if I just turn them over. Yeah, let's see, that's all gone. It's all gone wrong. So those are sitting on themselves. If I hold that down with enough weight, assume it doesn't do that. Oh dear. So people say lots of helpful things like, well, you need to tack that one on, and so then that will work. But even if you're tacking one leg on, you've still got to use both hands. You've still got to make that happen. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm just going to go with that. So I'm going to push down on this leg here to make sure that's as good as it can be. It's flat. All those sorts of things. Okay. So that's one leg on each. That looks okay. That looks all right. I did that all right. Okay, good. Good. Now I can continue on the rest of the legs, safe in the knowledge that it's going to be awesome. See, there's something about imagining all of the people watching thinking, what is this idiot doing? Does he have any idea, any clue as to what he's doing? That amuses me. Oh! Because no, I don't, is the answer to that. And yeah, so, more fool you for watching, really. But the other thing I hope that happens is that people go, oh, all right, if that idiot can do it, then maybe so can I. Or you're never going to be as crap as this. Inspiration, man, that's what it's all about. Yeah. Oh, come on. Don't panic, try another leg. So I've got some poorly soldered ones there. That's not soldered. So that end and that end need to be continued. It's still not quite right. Something has gone seriously wrong. Oh, that's interesting. That's never happened to me before. I seem to have melted this leg off. If you can see that there. See how this leg is a bit cocked, you could say. I seem to have over-soldered it or something. Now, hopefully, that will just bend back into place because I don't quite know what else to do. That's well weird. Yeah, but that's all gone over there. How is that going to marry up now? Oh, I don't know. Maybe this is my first real stuff up. Well, I'm going to assume that I can kind of push that back in and that'll just somehow work. Okay, that's weird. Let's keep on going though, because as I say, you never actually know till you get to the end. So next up, they want me to put these screws in. And they go on this side through those two holes. And it suggests that if I don't screw them up now, I won't get an opportunity to do it again. If you don't screw them now, you won't be able to do it later. Make sure they are tightly fastened. Use a tool for this purpose. Ooh. Front panel component mounting tips. So it says that now we proceed to the mounting the mechanical parts. This part of assembly is critical. It's in capitals. Oh my goodness. Please take your time and read the following instructions carefully. These components must not be soldered until they are placed on the PCB and fully attached to the front panel. Okay. There are two reasons for this. The height of the panel components are not all the same. Because of this, if you're not attached properly before soldering, they will not stay properly seated against the panel. This might cause mechanical stress, reducing life expectancy. Worst case, might cause them to break. And the second reason that it's very difficult to align the components to the holes if the panel is not positioned prior to soldering. All it's basically saying is when you put the LEDs and stuff on here, they need to marry up to the front panel properly. So you don't want to solder them, you need to have the front panel on there in order to have them the right height and stuff before you solder. Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure that's on the right side. Oh no, that's for that. Yeah, then that is that. Oh no, that way up. So that is going to go with that somehow. Bit like that, and then this somehow on that way up on the back. Like that. I think that's what we're looking to get to. Right. Get to it. So, LEDs. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these little fellas. These are quite nice as well. They've got their little sides at the top, which means it's going to fit into these tiny weeny holes really well. Not seen that before. Great. So place the LEDs onto the PCB, minding their polarity, but don't solder them. Don't solder them. The long leg is positive. Short leg is negative. So that was my call for lunch. So I'm going to take a little break and then I'll come back and see if we can mount these LEDs. Right, back from lunch. We're about an hour in, I think, and I was about to do the LEDs. Let's get back to that then. So where am I? What am I doing? Okay, front panel it talks about. Don't solder them until the front panel's in place. So place the LEDs onto the PCB, minding their polarity. Okay, now on the silk screen, it doesn't give me a positive or a negative as far as I can see. There's no plus or minus on the LEDs. What there is a slight flattened bit on one edge. Can you see that here? So it looked flattened on this edge, which I don't think is because that's where that broke off from the other bit. Remember that broke off from something? I don't think it's to do with that. I think that is indicating something, and I cannot remember if that's the positive or the negative bit. There isn't a plus or a minus, is there? God damn it. Right, I'll have to look that up. Okay, so according to the internet, the flat bit is the cathode, is the minus. Because these little LEDs here don't seem to have a flat bit. They do have one leg longer than the other, which is the indication that I need to know. The shorter leg is the negative one. So the shorter leg should go next to the flat bit. So it should go like that. Shorter leg to the edge. Okay, great. Now those are in, but as it says, I don't want to solder them yet because I don't know how they need to be. Oh look, here we go. The long leg is the positive and the short the negative. On the silk screen for this one, the flat side indicates the negative pad. There you go. It's in the instructions. All I've got to do is actually read them better would help. So that's good. But we're not soldering them because we don't quite know yet how they fit on here. I'll just bend the legs out a little bit. So open mechanicals bag it says, because that's the rest of the stuff done. This must be mechanicals. Right. See, this is a relatively straightforward build. There's not a whole lot of components to install, but it is a little bit fiddly because of those surface mounted bits. Interesting. Right, so mini jacks. Place the mini jacks on the PCB, ensuring they're on the side with the silk screen, but don't solder them either. So we've got to do a lot of stuff we're going to be holding in space. Mini jacks. So these are all down here on the silk screen side. They've all got 3 prongs. 2 together, like that, I suppose. 1 there, 2 there. All right. Maybe go with that one first. Dig that one in. There. That's better. Okay, that seems to be how they're going. Now, I could, of course, have this upside down, which I do. Hang on. Right, so, but I need a picture, ideally, of which way up these things are. I'm not going to get one. Oh, rats. No, that's it for pictures. Not going to get any more pictures. I would like to put forward a suggestion to anybody, again, manufacturing kits, I'm looking at you, Befaco, obviously, is pictures. Just more pictures. I don't have a picture of the finished product. I don't have a picture of the finished individual bits before they go together. And that's quite frustrating because I don't know exactly what I'm heading for. So for instance, I've put these 2 things in here where they appear to go, but on further inspection, I think they're upside down. Take those out. So how do I know which way up they go? Do they go this way round or that way round? Because you've got this here. Seeing this on here? So you've got these, that one there, but that's slightly offset. But if I put these down this way round, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it's going to go off the end at the bottom. So it has to be this way round, in which case I've got to put it in the slightly offset one. But that must be okay, because that's the only way this is going to work. So that end one has to go there. Yeah, all right. I mean, that goes relatively simply. And then that, like that. So, you know, all I'm saying is that you have to make some assumptions. And you don't really want to be making assumptions. You want to know. You want to know for certain. I mean, it's not a massive assumption. It has to be this way around. It has to be. Otherwise, they fall off the bottom. So that's in and not soldered. Next is the switches. I've got to remove the washers, which means I've got to put this down. So as I put this down, everything's going to fall out. Oh my goodness. Oh look. Okay, got away with it. So those nuts have to be for the jack sockets, and we mustn't get them confused. It said somewhere, do not get them confused, because they're similar but different. So I have to undo the washers and nuts from the switches. Now I get 3. Ah! I get. Alright, that's going to work like that. Okay. I get 3. Do I need... Oh, I get 4. All the washers? All the washers? Not all the washers? Remove washers and nuts from the switches. Place them. The switches have an orientation. Make sure the momentary action is facing left. Do not solder. Right, well, I'm going to take all of those off. I mean, there's another washer here, though. Nuts and washers. I don't know. All right, so I'm putting myself into la-la land now. I don't really know. That's the problem. That's always my problem. I don't really know. Right, so, okay. Let's not worry about that. Sure, there's not a photo of this bugger. If I look at the photo online, for the switches, there doesn't look like there's any washers involved at all. There's purely the nut on the top, because you're not going to want that. All right, what I should do is I should mount one in here. Do I want this? No. Look, because if I put that washer on top, it's going to look crap. So looking crap is not what I want. So That washer can go underneath. Thank you very much. Don't want it to look crap. Next washer is this sort of gnarly one here. Put that on top. No, again, that looks crap. So we're not going to be using that. So all we're going to be using, at the very most, is the nut, because that then lets the silk screen, lets the front panel stuff come through. Now what happens on the other side? Because if I have that washer there that has that bit sticking up, it's going to interfere with the front panel, because that is to allow it to sink into like another hole, a little bit of orientation. Even if that other washer is on, that's not going to allow it to be completely flat, I don't think. And this is also making it very high. So at this point, I'm removing both those washers and put them to one side. The question remains is that I've got one nut left on here. Is that the only nut? I mean, looking at the picture on the website, it doesn't look like there's anything other than that one nut. But maybe it's going to be dictated by the height of these as well. Right. Okay, so I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to take all of the nuts off and see how that goes. And if that doesn't work, I've got a buffer of a nut to put on. Right, so I have my 4 switches, completely naked switches, nothing else going on. We need to orientate them because they have momentary going in one direction and on-off going the other direction. Do you see? And you need that going to the right place. Now it says that the momentary action is facing left. The momentary action is facing to the left. So I'm going this way up, momentary to that side. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that to me looks like those are at the right height. If I can get them to stay in when compared to the jacks. Right, so place them. Don't solder them yet. All of this stuff is not soldered. It's already sitting there to fall out as soon as I think about it. At this point, we have all the mechanical components in place and are ready to attach the front panel. Right, screw in the parts first. Mini jacks, then switches. Oh, okay, so so we need to put the front panel on, I think is what it's trying to say, or is rather what it didn't say. Right, okay. So that's just going to go over the top. So a bit of wiggle wiggle. Right, good. So I don't think that needs any other nut or buffer underneath the switches. I think those are all at the right height. And what it suggests is that I put the mini jacks on first. Then just a single nut, I believe, on these switches. Okay, good. Now that looks flush. That looks good. So I don't think I needed to have left any washers or any nuts underneath the switch, because otherwise that would be raising it up too far. Now none of this is soldered. I have to keep this together. Just tighten these up all a little bit. Good, right. So hopefully I've got those the right way. Momentary to the left. Good. Solder the mini jacks and the switches. Do the LEDs last. Beware, the mini jack pins are close and may get bridged. Alright. Let's not make that happen then. So how am I best to do this? Should I try and employ my little clip thing here again? That could work. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure how it's going to stand up. Tape on this end as well. Right, that may or may not work. Who cares? Let's give it a go. That bit out of the way. Bit of solder. I don't know. How do you make these not do that? So how do I make that solid? Because these are little ball joints, so they have to sort of move. Right, well, I could lay it down. It just needs something to hold it. That might work. All right. Please don't grimace. I'm doing the best I can. Well, that's the mini jacks. Let's keep going. I have to say I like the pads for switches because they're chunky. My sort of size soldering, really. That all looks pretty good to me. That'll do. Now I've got to get these LEDs. Careful not to bridge the resistors. Yeah. So, in a previous episode, somebody said about with LEDs, you should put a strip of tape along the top, and then you push the LEDs in, and hopefully they stick their little heads to the tape in order to keep them flush. Right, last bit. No bridging. No bridging. No bridging. I'm going to have to swap hands. I bet you never knew I was so ambidextrous with my soldering. Honestly, I didn't know either. I imagine the smart thing to do would have been to have turned the whole thing round. But I'm into it now. I'm in the zone. Definitely in the zone. I reckon that's done. I'm going to say that's done. They're all nicely through. I have the tiniest blemish on my front panel here. It may be that the LED is just not quite in far enough. I've just got a little edge showing. But, you know, I can live with that. I can live with that. It's part of doing it from kits, is that it's never quite as pristine as getting someone to do it for you. So what happens next? Double check your soldering. Yeah, I did that. So next it says, so double check your soldering, just in case. Then you just get the DivKid. You just get the DivKid face. Right, come on. Anything more? No. Front panel. Double check. Warranty. So I now have this bit here and this bit here with no further information. I guess I'll just have to marry them together and assume that they do that. They must do that. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? And of course, I've got my wobbly leg. All right, that's going in. It's going in. It's going in. Ugh. Gotcha. I do have 2 screws. Yeah, the masking tape has left a little bit of a residue right across the top of the front panel, so I'm just trying to remove with my shirt. But otherwise, there we have it. There is your DivKid Mutes. Now I have to say that wasn't a difficult build. It was slightly hampered by the instructions, sadly. It just needed a couple more photos. It needed a photo of each finished PCB and then a photo of this, like this. I mean, there is another photo of this sort of side on that's on the website itself where you buy the module. So you can use that a little bit, but you just needed it without the front panel on just to be sure. and then something showing you how to put the two together. It just needed a little bit. Hopefully this video will fill in a few of those gaps as you've seen me stumble through putting it together, so that you don't have to quite so much. Fabulous. They'll be able to plug it in and have a go. So mutes then. Here we go. Let's see whether we can get this to work. Now I've got my bottom row off, in case you're wondering. Let's see if I can plug this in here. This cable can only go in one way round in here, so I can't get that wrong because both of them have got keys in. So it should plug in without any trouble. Okay, that's in. Stuff all the garbage back there. Knurlies are included. And I have to say, I'm a big fan of the oval holes, which give you a little bit more leeway when trying to plug something into your rack. I've already got this patched into sort of some kind of craziness, which is not helpful at this stage because I'm trying to fight with everything to get it plugged in. Okay, good. Plugged in, bit of gap around itself. Let's turn the thing on, see if it goes boom. Ah! Okay, well nothing went boom, but it has no lights on by itself. So I don't know whether it's actually working. So let me see if I can navigate through this mess to bring something to put in, and then obviously an out. Okay, this is the output of my mute on. Let's take that and put that into the bottom out. I don't know, am I making a guess? Let's take this, which is the output of some drums. Plug that into input 1. Is that actually triggering? Yeah, it's supposed to be. Okay, I've put it to the right, and that's now getting a flashing light. That's good. The out is going into there. Not getting anything out at the moment. That's okay. Ah! So yeah, we look at that. So you can unmute it by sticking it to the right, muted in the middle, momentarily on by pushing it to the left. Nice. So let's take the output of something else. So something is going to be going into here. That's going to come from something. I'll take that from there, stick that into number 2 in. Now how am I going to hear that? I can do that way. So that's my 2 HP, what's it? Take that, plug it into number 3. Okay. That out. Let's do that. Good. Now, what I assumed, which is completely wrong, is that it would normalize down to a single output. It doesn't do that. Let me set this up so I've got 4 things running in and 4 things running out. That's got to be the best place to start. So I've got 4 channels of sound coming into this side, 4 channels going out that side that I should be able to hear. Well, you can turn all of the mutes off, and you get all of the channels coming through all at once with lovely LED indications as to what the heck is going on. So there you go, there was my build on the DivKid Mutes module. I hope that was useful, I hope that was helpful, I hope that helps more people get through that build with less trouble than perhaps they might have done. The instructions, they're there. I mean, it's not a complex build in particular, but it, you know, it could do with just a little bit more, a couple more photos, a little bit more instruction just to make it that bit smoother for us idiots. But yeah, with a bit like this video has filled in those sorts of gaps. The module itself is a load of fun. I mean, did you just see that? I assume you just saw that, what I was doing, switching stuff in and out. I mean, that's just the basic level. I haven't really looked into any more detail of how you use the thing. And in fact, there aren't any more details in the pack either. Probably your best bet is to pop along to DivKid's video channel and watch his video on it. That will be the best way of uncovering the other things that it does. But I'm very happy to say that my build seemed to work as far as I can tell. I've got lights on, I've got sound going through. That's got to be a good thing. So I seem to have pulled it off yet again, which is very encouraging. But as a module, it's a phenomenally little useful thing. I can use it immediately in performance, in setting stuff up. It's more creative than the Muton. The Muton, you've got to stuff in there and try and push those buttons on and off. And it's worked for me. That it does exactly what it was that I was after for my performance rig. But the Mutes, with its momentary switches and the fact that you're physically pushing something across, there's something more to that than the light on, light off switches on the Muton, which I can never quite remember whether it's muted or not muted and which way round that goes. Whereas with Mutes, it's got these LEDs which are showing signal, and that in itself is fantastic because it just gives you that little bit more, because you can see what's running, because you can see there's a signal. I know you're supposed to be able to hear everything and do it with your ears, but visually those clues help you choose the right channel when everything's confusing, everything is dark and everything not quite sure what's going on. You know that those ones are on because they're flashing, and that's very, very useful. It's great. It's a great little module. It works. There's no clickiness to the Mutes because those Vactrols are coming in and out. You're getting that little attack decay stuff going on. Great, brilliant. What a great thing. I haven't quite worked out how you do one in on multiple outs and how those are connected internally. I don't quite get that yet, but what I need to do is take a look at DivKid's video and get that sorted out so that I know for myself. The lack of a manual I don't think is massively important because it's not that difficult a module to work out, and of course DivKid's own videos are there to set you straight if you want to get into it a bit deeper. So as a 70 quid kit from Thonk, took me, what time is it now? Took me 2 hours, maybe, a couple of hours of messing about and soldering to get that together, and then woof, you're off and running. And what a phenomenally useful piece of kit that is. And I have a slight sinking feeling that I might need another one. So good, yeah. So that was that. I hope that was helpful. Do check out the channel for other wonders of modular DIY as I chug along in this journey. I have still got 3 or 4 other kits to build which are on my radar, including a low-pass gate, the sample slicer thingy. I must do that. Need to start getting into a bit of sampling in my rig, and a couple of other kits from Befaco who were kind enough to send them in to me to give those a go. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please share it around, subscribe, join me on Patreon, throw me a whole load of money. That would be awesome. It's great to get together, it's great to share, it's great to show things that are going on, and I really do deeply hope that this was helpful. So I don't know what I'm doing next, but I'm sure it'll be stunningly exciting. In the meantime, go and make some tunes. Dead easy, man. What a great little module.